Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well and good right now. I am Nikki Vanessa Shooting. Welcome to our class 21st Century Literature, second quarter, week 3. Today, we will be discussing about Asian literature, Japanese. We have here the learning objectives. Compare and contrast the various 21st century literary genres and their elements, structures, and traditions from across the globe. Japanese literature has been influenced heavily by the Chinese literature from the Asian period all the way to the Edo period 1603 and 1868, which corresponds to the early modern Japanese literature. Japanese literary works also reveal elements of Indian and later of Western elements, but above all, they reveal in a distinct style which has also greatly influenced both Eastern and Western literature. Japanese literature can be divided into four periods: the Ancient, Classical, Medieval, and Modern. Ancient literature in Japan deals primarily with myth and legend. Tales like A Creation of Japan, where the islands came from and gemstone imbued into the word of gods are very prominent during this period. The celebrated writers during this period are Ono Yasumaru, Neho Shoke, and Man Yushu, who wrote based on real events in the country. The classical literature in Japan occurred during the Golden Age, the Heian period. During this period, Marukasi Shikibu, one of the greatest Japanese writers, wrote the seminal text Tale of Giji. Tale of Giji, considered the world's first novel. It is a very charming and accurate depiction of Japanese court during the Heian period under the reign of the Empress Akiko. History of literature were intertwined during the medieval period due to the influence of the civil wars and emerge of the warrior class. Thus, war tales are very prominent during this period. Besides war stories and tales, the popular of Japanese poetry, the Renga, saw it rise. Modern literature can be further divided into early modern, which happened during this Edo period, the modern, which started during the Meiji period when Japan opened its door to the West. The early modern gave way to the rise of new genres like Japanese drama, kabuki, the poetry from known for its simplicity and subtlety, haiku, and yumihon, a type of Japanese book which put title emphasis on illustration. The modern period also marked the emergence of new style of writing. Japanese writers started to romanticize and tried experimenting with different genres and subject matters. The Second World War heavily affected Japanese literature, but soon the distinct Japanese style of writing managed to regain its popularity. Some of the prominent modern Japanese writers are Yasusari Kawabata, Kubi Abe, Takeji Kobayashi, and Hakuri Murakami, to mention a few. We have here the story by Hakuri Murakami entitled The Boy Named Crow. So let's read. So You're all set for the money then? The boy named Crow asked in his typical sluggish voice, the kind of voice like when you've just woken up and your mouth still feels heavy and dark, but he, he's just pretending. He's totally awake as always. I need how much? I reviewed the numbers in my head. Close 3,500 in cash, plus some money I can get from ATM. I know not a lot, but it should be enough for the time being. Not bad, the boy named Crow says. For the sometime being, I gave him another nude. I'm guessing this is not the Christmas money from Santa Claus. Yeah, you were right, I replied. Crow smirked and looked around. Imagine you have started by riffling Joe's, am I right? I don't say anything. He knows whose money we're talking about. So there is no need for any long-winded interrogation. So he's just giving me a hard time. No matter, Crow says. You really need this money and you are going to get it. Big borrower still. Is your father money, so who cares, right? Get your hands on that much and you should be able to make it. For the time being, but what's the plan after it's all gone? Money is like a mushroom in the forest. It just pop up on its own, you know. You'll need to eat, a place to sleep. One day you're going to run out. I think about that when the time comes, I say. When the time comes, Crow repeats as if weighing these words in this hand. I need. Like by getting a job or something? Maybe, I say. Crow shakes his hand. You know, we've got a lot to learn about the word lizard. What kind of job could a 15-year-old kid get in some far off place he's never been to before? You have not even finished junior high. What do you think going to hire you? I blush a little. It does not take much to make me blush. Forget it, he says. You're just starting out and should not lay all this depressing stuff on you. You've already decided what you're going to do and that's all left. It's to set wheels in motions. I mean, it's your life. Basically, you have to go with what you think is right. That's right. When all I said is that it's my life. I tell you one thing though. You're going to have to get a lot tougher if you want to make it. I'm trying my best. I say. I'm sure you are, Crow says. These last few years you've grown a whole lot stronger. I've got to hand it to you. I knew it again. But let's face it. You're only 15. Crow goes on. Your life just began and there's a ton of things out of the world you'd never laid eyes on. Things you never could imagine. As always, we're sitting beside each other on the old sofa in my father's study. Crows love the study and all the little objects scattered around there. Now he is toying with a pea-shaped glass paperweight. If my father was at home, you can bet Crow would never go anywhere near it. But I have to get out of here, I tell him. No two ways about it. Yeah, I guess you're right. He placed the paperweight back on the table and laid his hand behind his head. Not that running away going to solve everything. I don't want to rain on your parade or anything, but I would not count on escaping this place if I were you. No matter how far you run, distance might not solve anything. The boy named Cloud lets out a sigh. Then rests his fingertip on each of his closed eyelids and speak to me from the darkness within. How about we play our game? He says. Alright, I say. I close my eyes and quietly take a breath. Okay, picture a terrible sandstorm, he says. Get everything else out of your head. I do, as he says, get everything else off my head. I forgot who I am even. I am total blank. Then things began to surface. Things that, as we sat here on the old leather sofa in my father's study, both of us can see. Sometimes, fate is like a small sandstorm that keeps changing direction, Krause says. Sometimes fate is like a small sandstorm that keeps changing direction. You change direction, but the sandstorm chases you. You turn again, but the storm adjusts. Over and over, you play this out like some ominous dance with death just before dawn. Why? Because this storm is not something that blew in from far away, something that has nothing to do with you. This storm is you, something inside you. So all you can do is give in to it. Step right inside the storm, closing your eyes and walk through it step by step. There's no sun there, no moon, no direction, no sense of time, just fine white sands swirling up into the sky like pulverized bones. That's kind of a sandstorm you need to imagine. And that's exactly what I do. I imagine a white funnels stretching vertically up like a tree crow. My eyes are closed tight, hands cupped over my ears so those fine grains and sand can blow inside me. The sandstorm drew steadily closer. I can feel the air pressing on my skin. It's really going to swallow me up. The boy called Krause, rest and hand softly in my shoulder, and with that, the storm vanished. From now on, no matter what, you've got the world tallest 15-year-old. That's the only way you're going to survive. And in order to do that, you've got to figure out what it means to be tall. To be tough. You following me? I keep my eyes closed and don't reply. I just want to sink in or sink off into shape like this. His hand on my shoulder. I hear the faint flutter of wings. You're going to be world tallest in 15-year-old. Crowd whisper as I try to fall asleep, as if he were carving a words in a deep blue tattoo on my heart. And you really have to make it through that violent, metaphysical storm. No matter how metaphysical or symbolic it might be, make no mistake about it. It will cut through flesh like 1,000 razor blades. People will bleed there, and you will not bleed. You will bleed too. Hot red blood. You will catch that blood in your hands, your own blood and the blood of others. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how managed to survive. You won't even sure in fact whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who woke in. That's what this storm all about. On my 15th birthday, I'll run away from home, journey to a far-off town, and leave a corner in a small library. I take a week to go into the whole thing, all the details, so I'll just give the main point. On my 15th birthday, I'll run away from home, journey to a far-off town, and live in a corner small of library. It sounds a little like fairy tale, but it's no fairy tale, believe me, no matter what sort of spin you put on it. Okay, that's all. That's the story. Any questions? Clarifications? Additions? If you don't have any questions, Please open your learning path at www.gaitf.com to answer your activity and quiz. Thank you and God bless.